Good morning, good afternoon, happy Monday. It is a good start to the week. Green Day recap. Fuse, FUSC. How do you find the most obvious stocks in the market every day? I'm going to walk you through exactly how we do it, how I caught every trade that I did today on FUSC. Not a whole lot going on today. A lot of those Chinese stocks pumping and dumping around like we expected after the crazy moves on ELPW in the last week. And of course, we stayed away from those. We only traded Fuse today. This was it. This was the one stock I traded today. But again, it's pretty much how it's been the last few days. You look back on Friday, all I traded on Friday was TWNP. We had the bankruptcy pumps with Fats Brands, and then of course we had Twin Entertainment, and that was the Friday opportunity. You come in and you have that one stock you can really just get locked in on, zoned in, and that's all it takes. That's really all it takes. And so this morning I had a few things I was watching. Now I was watching DKI, ACCL, Fuse, and IPW. Now going into the open, these all looked fantastic, except for ACCL, which sold off into the bell, so of course wasn't on my list. I had this consolidating off the highs. I was wanting to see if it wanted to follow through higher out of the open. This thing sells off before the bell, and obviously it was taken off my list. DKI faded after market open with no opportunities in sight. IPW, look at this, same exact story here. A disgusting market open. So the only setup out of these four was what? Was Fuse. This is it. This is all we. You had Fuse. Nothing else was looking good. Everything was fading. And to be honest, that's actually a great thing because it makes it a whole lot easier to figure out where we've got to be focused. It's not like you've got 3 or 4 stocks heading to the upside. You have one stock moving. So it's not very hard to figure out what that obvious stock is. And so today, it was quite clear the one stock that wasn't selling off at market open was Fuse, right? It was Fuse. There was nothing to get confused about today. I didn't get confused with Fuse. So we came out of market open. And this puts in place a pretty interesting range where initially we come in. I'm a little bit skeptic here at first because we have this big high here. Look at this. We have this high stacked here overhead. We're looking at these higher highs from 265 to 275. And I'm expecting to find some resistance here around 280. And so the game plan here was to watch it over 280 or off 255. And so I was looking at this and it actually ended up setting up perfectly for me. And so we come out of market open, we find a big buyer here, and we go 1, 2, 3 candles to the upside. And at first, I'm like, crap, I just missed the move. I wish I would have taken it here on the reclaim of VWAP, but I didn't because we were stuck in this sideways range. So wait for it to pull away. It pulls back off the 20 moving average. We find a buyer stepping in here. And so now we've confirmed a higher low where you're looking something like this here, where you've got this chart's moving on me, where we've got this low here brought up into the higher low here, gives you a nice range to trade out of. And then we also have this area of supply from pre-market. We have sellers, of course, sitting all through here. That's where I was a little bit skeptic with this here. Why? It was a bit hard to get aggressive until it actually got pulling away. So taking pullbacks here, after putting in place this range, it pulls back. I see a buyer step in. I take it here for the breakout over this previous high. And I get a little bit of a curl there. And then it pulls back again. I take a curl again. I get to move back up into the highs again. And so you're stuck here sort of whipsawing back and forth, trading these pullbacks a little bit, trying to break the ice. I get it from 260 to 273. Then I get it back from 260 back to 270 again. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to let this figure its way out. I'm going to let it break out first, and we'll come back to this. Because the longer it was coiling in this range, the worse risk to reward we had. See, so back here, where I'm risking off this past candle's low for the move back up into these highs, I at least had a 1.5 to 1, 2 to 1 risk to reward. As you could hear, you hardly have 1 to 1. So I went ahead and took my profit and just sat back and waited until it finally confirmed the upside direction, right? No trade. Well, it ended up breaking, and then we took a trade. And so we ended up actually breaking out perfectly over these higher highs. And at that point, I know I just want to risk off the past high of day. Easy enough. And so as this candle pulls back, I take the entry at 298. Stop loss goes down here at 285. And so I've got maybe 10 cents of risk. And so from there, perfectly done. Pullbacks go at the high. Stop loss goes at the high of day. Looking for the follow through higher. And as price breaks here, we have this high of day followed by this lower high and lower high. As it begins to break above, of course, stop losses then raised to the breakout candle's low. And I was able to capture the move here from 3 all the way to $3.60. So 10 cents of risk, able to capture about a 60-cent move. And so super happy with that. After that, and of course, as price moves higher, we, of course, raise stops to the bottom of the last candle until we eventually were stopped out at the high as this happens here. And so as you know, my exit strategy, if price ever makes a new high and then instantly rejects, that is my full take profit every single day of the week. I do not care what it looks like, how much conviction you have. That is a reversal indicator. That is my time to step away. And so that was my time to step away there. Took a full profit off the highs and began to watch pullbacks. As you can see, price had respected the 90 MA all morning. And so as it pulls back off the 90 MA, we see a buyer step in with this big wick off of the 90 MA. I take the entry, risking off of, guess what, the bottom of this candle. And I'm able to play it back up. Look at this, from 330 back to 350. I'm like, cool, we're getting something going here. Then, of course, we find sellers that get off the highs, and I take a full profit back at entry with my raised stop loss. Very happy with that. And then what I understand here is, take a look at this. We have this low and this low putting in place these lower lows. And what I also know is we have this rally base. Let me change colors so you can actually see. We have this rally base, rally type move where this becomes an area of demand. And so as we find demand through this price range here, that is again going to be drawn on over to the right and gives you a nice area of defined risk to trade off of. Some nice confluence. And so as price pulls back off the 20 EMA, puts in place this big hammer off the low. Look at this big wick off the 20 EMA. Again, take the entry. Stop loss goes to the bottom of this candle. Looking at this past area of demand as confluence. And guess what? We also have confluence of these lower lows and these lower highs. So again, a perfect, look at this. I couldn't have asked for better opportunity or better execution. So played it here again from 310 back to 325. Again, super simple, textbook setup. And I try to do it again. That's really the last nice trade that I had. I tried to do it again here and it ended up working. It did work out. See, it worked out. I could have captured a really nice move on this, but I cut it for very small profit because my concern here is we were right up against the 9 and 20 EMA. And so we don't really have that 1 minute confluence. That 1 minute alignment's not really there. So I went ahead and cut this. It ended up working. Sure, maybe I can look back and say I should have held this, but I knew in the moment I did the right thing. We're underneath the 9 and the 20. Didn't have confluence. I cut it. I stepped away because 9 times out of 10 this is going to, of course, continue to the backside. So I'm happy I did what I did there. Then as you can see, price does break these lower highs. I try to get that move back to the high of day. I get a little bit of something there, but it begins to hesitate and look heavy, reject. And so I say, you know what, I'm just done. And then all through there, I was just done with the rest of the morning because it just couldn't find its way. So, but we had more Chinese pumping up today, like this DOGZ. You've got to be careful with after stuff like ELPW and all of those last week, where they look opportune. They really do look opportune. And you look at it, you're like, wow, this looks so good. This ran 3,000%. I want to be a part of this. Oh my God, I could have turned 1,000 to 3 million, whatever people are saying. And you have to understand, sure, you could have, but at the same time, it's much more likely long term that you're going to see the opposite. You're going to be losing. And it just takes that one time, that one wrong move on setups like that. So those halty, pump and dump messes that you can't manage risk in because they're resuming $1 above the halt price or $3 below the halt price. You know, just there's no way to manage risk. It's like the reins are taken from your hands. You can't manage your risk in the trade. You have no idea where it's going to open. You have no idea. Like there's nothing you can do. It's out of your control. So on one side, you look at it from the profit perspective, but you have to start with anything. It doesn't matter if it's that or just a regular trade like I had on Fuse today. Every trade you take starts with what you're risking. It starts with that potential loss. You know, so when you look at a setup like that and say, well, is this something that's going to work for me long term? And if the answer is no, you're gambling and it should not be taken. So please be smart. That's the current theme we have out there. A lot of these shiny, crazy setups. Be smart, be safe, be responsible, focus on the long term. Don't focus on what's fun right now. This is not a casino. It is if you treat it like one, but don't treat it like one. Focus on sustainable profits. And that being said, that's pretty much the daily recap. Had just Fuse today. Not a whole lot else moving, but I'm very happy with the morning again. Knocked out one setup, one and done. And that's all it takes. So that being said, if you did learn a thing or two from this video, make sure to subscribe for daily content just like this. And make sure to start your 7-day free trial down in the description below to trade alongside me in real time every single day and get alerts, education, watch list, chat room access, scanners, news, Momentum AI, Momentum Journal, and so much more. And that being said, I'll catch you back tomorrow morning for another awesome day ahead. Let me know in the comments below as well how you did today. Hopefully you had a fruitful day as well, and I'll see you tomorrow.